Okay, here we go again, and this time I wanted to talk about one of my favorite lenses, or one of my even most used lenses for pro work or even for hobby. It's just this lens is something special really, and this is the Zeiss Distagon 35mm f2, and I know there is a version of 1.4 of this. Actually, there's the Zeiss, Sony Zeiss 1.4, and there is the Distagon f1.4, very similar look, but much bigger. And I had those and I tried them and I used them, and this is a Canon mount one because obviously I use it on my 5D a lot. I mean, I was shooting Canon, I had a 1DX as well, and alongside the Sony. So on the Canon version there is no aperture ring, so there is no way for you to change the aperture if it's not on the camera body. But yeah, I never really cared about that because you know, I don't shoot video, and for what I do, it's perfectly fine. And I probably will put up some specs on the screen here about the weight and size and apertures and the lens diagram and whatever, whoever cares about it. But basically I bought this lens a few years ago. Probably this was my very first expensive lenses, you know, like when you start out in a hobby and then you buy all these vintage lenses, you're going down that vintage hobby and you buy those still amazing lenses like testers and whatever, but you know, you can pick them up for like 100 quid, and this was like crazy money back then. I think I bought it when there is this guy called Crazy Photographer or Angry Photographer, something like that. Chubby dude, sick sense of humor, and very knowledgeable about stuff. Yeah, can get crazy sometimes and talks about all kind of stuff, and I might not agree everything, you know, with what he says, but about this lens, that guy is spot on crazy. So yeah, this lens is about half a kilo. It's only, there's nothing, there's no motor, there's no autofocus, there's it's 100% manual, and it's gonna, you know, survive everything. It's metal and glass, that's all. The focusing ring is just smooth. It's a joy to use and easy to focus, like really easy to find things in focus. The only time I have issues with manual focus, I love manual focus when I shoot professionally, like if I shoot like boudoir, and in my style I like to get close, like this is and you sometimes on your one knees or hanging off a ladder, or you know, you are in weird positions, and the Sony don't have a fully articulated screen, so it's a pain. So when you are in weird angles and twisting your neck and everything, and you are 45 like me, then manual focus can be an ass. So, but I have a way around it now. I will show you at the end of the video. I have a trick to make this autofocus. Not only that, but macro. Yeah. So yeah, this was one of my only problems with this lens. It's manual focus, and because all my pro lenses are autofocus, you know, I have the Batis lenses which I use for paid works, because sometimes you just can't afford to, you know, miss a focus. You know, if it's a paid work, you better be delivering. You can't have like, you know, 50% miss rate, like, no way. And with this lens, even though it's easy to focus, sometimes, not in studio work, but if we are in natural light, sometimes you miss. And this lens is even though it's very forgiving, but it's also crazy sharp. Like, this lens is one of the most probably the most perfect lens I ever had, and it's a lot. I had a lot of lenses and I tried a lot of lenses. This lens is, the color saturation is insane. The depth of field, the depth rendering is insane. There is barely any chromatic aberration. The micro contrast, oh my god, it's insane. And yeah, this lens is just perfect. And I tried this lens. You know, I always kept it. Ever since I had it, I loved it from day one, and I still do love it. It's a insanely good lens. But as a photographer and a geek, you know, we always have this gas syndrome, or the grass is always greener. And you know, over the years you see the new lenses are coming out, the Milvus, or you have the, or even the exact same version of this but in 1.4, which is huge and far more heavier. Or you have the Sony Zeiss 1.4, and I was always tempted. I always picked one up. I had the Zeiss, the Sony Zeiss 1.4 with the autofocus, and it's not a bad lens. It's not a bad lens. I just if I compare I saw them on. If I compare the image quality from this, like I always was like, this is far outperforms the 1.4. Like, okay, you can go to 1.4 and you get a shallower depth of field, and it looks good, but the bokeh on f2 on this one, it looks far better. It's to my eyes anyway, to my taste, and the micro contrast, it just looks far better to my taste. Also, this is half the size. You know, it's tiny. I'm not saying it's lighter because it's solid, you know, glass and metal. And I only had it for 2 months, and I was like, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to buy it, because obviously I like the 1.4, I like a shallow depth of field, and we are all crazy about new stuff. So I bought the Distagon, exact same one, Distagon, but in the 1.4, which is like that much bigger, and well, this is about a half a kilo, so it's not that bad. It fits everywhere, it's tiny, compact, you can travel with it. It's heavy, but it's like carrying gold, you know. You don't mind the weight of gold. It's like, hey, I'm rich. So yeah, it's this glass is half a kilo, and it's perfect size, perfect weight, exceptional quality. And I had the 1.4, and it was crazy expensive back then when it came out, but I was tempted, so I got one. And I always found myself taking this one with me wherever I had to go. So if you shoot in a studio on a tripod, then it doesn't matter because the 1.4 is fine. But if you are shooting in a studio on a tripod, you don't need the 1.5 or the 1.4. You don't. That lens, that 1.4 is nearly a kilo. I think it's like 0.8 kilogram, which is twice as heavy as this one. So, okay, if you're in a studio set up on a tripod, it doesn't matter. But if you are walking around with a camera bag with like 4 or 5 lenses in a bag hanging on your shoulder, and they are like, you know, heavy, let's face it, you will feel that lens. So what happened? That lens delivers, I would say, delivers just as well as this one, perfectly fine, but it also has a 1.4, you know, not f2. And that 1.4, it looks really good, but if you shoot in a super contrasty scene on 1.4, you know, but testing the lens a little bit, that there is some chromatic aberration. So there is some chromatic aberration. It can be fixed, and you know, it's not an issue. I just I don't know. F2 is I'm quite comfortable with F2, to be honest, because my favorite 50, the Summicron, is f2 as well, so it fits in my style anyway. I had all the 1.2s, you know. I had the Canon 85 1.2 Make 2, I had the 50 1.2, and yeah, they are good. The 85 I hated. It's I don't know, that was very slow. It delivers, and if you find focus, then it's a good lens, but it just didn't play very well with my kit. I don't know, obviously the 5D awful autofocus, and if you put a 1.2 on it, because even with the best autofocus system, 1.2, it's testing it, you know, unless if you have like a 1DX or something. So f2 is fine. Okay, I maybe missed the 50 1.2 because that was crazy fast, even on my Sony. I don't know why every time I record there is something in my there is nothing all day, but when I'm recording something in one of my eyes all the time. Maybe this is the place. Anyway, yeah, this lens is crazy good. I might put up a few samples, but even if you go on Flickr or whatever, you see examples. And the best thing about this lens, I mean, everything is like, it is pure joy to use. The focus is insanely good. Oh, I didn't even show you this. You will love this. This had this amazing lens cap. Like it's obviously metal, not plastic like every other things. You have this insane shape, so it just clicks like a bayonet kind of thing. Felt on the inside, so there is no reflection, no bouncing back. And listen to this. You put this on, and that little click. Oh my god, I love it. This lens is insanely good. Yeah, this is one of my most used lenses. There was a period of time when I got the Batis 25. There was a little bit of time when I didn't use this lens that much because the Batis 25 is crazy good as well, and I just love it. I love that. When it came out, I was like 25, like what the hell? Why would you make a 25? Like, you know, it's not 24, not 28, it's 25. And anyway, I bought one, and man, that lens is good, really good. Separate video. Anyway, so yeah, and I was thinking about getting the Batis 40 because I kind of wanted an autofocus just when you need it, you know. But every time when I get an autofocus in this range, I think 35 might be not that easy to make, you know, to a perfect lens. But some say the 50 range is the easiest to make it perfect because the design anyway. So yeah, every time I bought an autofocus one, I always missed this somehow. I made a little video for you guys. I will show you at the end of the day. But this lens, the close focus distance, is exceptional. Like if you have a larger sensor on your camera, like me, I have this I think 46 megapixel. Don't shoot me if it's 42 or 46, I can't remember. Or even 100 megapixel camera. You slap this lens on, it focuses down to like that, like I don't know, that really close. So if you take a picture of anything, and you can zoom in, you know, you can crop in like crazy, so you get a macro picture. So you know, you can double purpose this one. Sometimes when you shoot weddings or whatever, and you have to get detailed shots of the ring or whatever, this thing is just magnificent. Like, I mean, you don't have to have the, you know, the actual diamonds, you know, or you could, but this lens is it's like a tricky fake macro or something. Amazing. These are still hold their value in price. If you go on eBay, I think they go for like £600 or £700, depends on what condition or whatever, because obviously this is discontinued, and still a very sought after lens. And obviously sometimes I still go on eBay because I still want to find a deal on a 1.4 again, exact same, the metal body, not the autofocus one. I still want to get a 1.4, but I don't know. I don't know why, because I always prefer this one. But you know, sometimes you like to hunt for a deal, as I do anyway. So if I find a deal, I will probably pick it up. So in my search on eBay, long story short again, Mr. Rambling on, sometimes these are more expensive than the 1.4, which is crazy. Like the 1.4 is, you know, so much more glass, so much more material, and that's an exceptional lens as well. It's just heavy as hell, like crazy heavy. So yeah, this is sometimes going for more money than the 1.4. Unbelievable. So I think this lens will go down in like you know, like when you are hunting now for a biogon, like insanely good lens, like super hard to find, or like lens history. This lens is truly exceptional. Probably the best lens ever made. I don't know. I used a lot of lenses, but this lens is just blows your mind. And if you put it on the 5D Classic, insanely good. This is also fits very well in my. It fits into my modern look. If I have to shoot for paid work and I use the Batis and a lot of autofocus lenses, this lens can be. It fits in. You don't really. You know, sometimes when you shoot with different lenses, you can tell that it is maybe a different lens. You know. But this fits in very well, and also you can edit this very well to get that vintage look, and also you can get this crazy tack sharp, like punchy modern look. So it's a very versatile gear. That's why I shoot lots of portraiture, and and I do use this for Portraiture sometimes to my own demise, because this lens is sharp, like wide open. It is crazy sharp. Like you get details. Like if I shoot Portraiture and I'm not very far, because it's, you know, I like to be close. I don't. If you shoot Portraiture with this lens, even wide open, then you get all the details, like everything you don't want to see. Like this is if you shoot with this lens, you will edit. But also if you do a perfect good edit, then it's so much better. Then you have all the details. So yeah, you have all the details. I think it's insanely good for male portraits, because then you can make it much more, you know, manly and macho and sharp and contrasty and shit, whatever. For female portrait, you have to be sure the makeup is on point, or well, what I like to do, I always like to use minimal makeup on the models, but obviously sometimes it's not your choice. But I prefer minimal makeup, so you can still see skin texture and yeah. But yeah, for female portrait, I like the 85 sometimes. 85 is really good and much more pleasing on a female skin, I think, and because sometimes the models themselves don't like all the details, you know. So if you shoot with the 85, for some reason it's much more pleasing. The skin is just much more smoother, and the details are still there, but it's that's, you know, that's called portrait lens for a reason. This is just 35 is like, for some reason it's my thing. This is my favorite focal length, 35. Yeah, this lens is many people use it for video as well, because at every aperture you get a perfect final quality, you know. And if you put this on a good sensor, then you get some good film. You know, you can put some focusing rings on it, and then I have this DJI Ronin kind of thingy. So if you have a Ronin, you know, stabilized, it's insanely good film quality. I don't shoot much film. If I did, I would probably want the one with the manual aperture. I can only just recommend this one. I don't know why there is a, because yesterday I was like thinking about making this video, so I went on a Flickr and was trying to find you know, good samples that but there is not many people actually. I don't see that many good examples. Like and it's not the fault of the lens. It's just, I don't know, maybe the audience who buys this lens, maybe they don't take good pictures that much, or maybe just people shy away from this lens because it's a, you know, a full manual focus lens and still expensive. I don't know, or maybe, I don't know. So there is not that many good examples, but this lens is insanely good. I mean, you can find still, and if you go on, even on Instagram, if you go on the hashtag for this f2, there's not that many pictures of this camera lens, and I don't get it why, because, you know, if you go on the mirrorless, there is like millions. If you go on the 1.4, there is like millions. But this lens is, I think it outperforms all of them. I mean, the 1.4 Distagon performs, I would say, identical to this, but it's far heavier. So I don't know. Maybe some people don't mind the weight. Who knows? Or the price. But all I can say, this lens is, it's never really gonna drop in the price. I think it's gonna be one of those lenses that's gonna be harder and harder to find in good condition, and it's gonna last you a lifelong time. You know, even if you have a son, you can pass it on when you know, you're getting old. This is one of those insane good lenses, and I will probably never sell it. I mean, that's what I think. You know, even if I'm, you know, homeless or something, if you see a dude asking for change and holding a Distagon, that's me. This lens is pretty good. Okay, now I will include that video. I made a video of my what the hell, I'll show you. So basically what I did, as I showed you in my other video, and I'm sure many of you will be laughing at me, I bought this tech art adapter, and so it's an tech art adapter, and I don't know why, but I just bought one of these L's to Leica L mount. I don't even know who would want to mount a Canon lens to Leica, but that there is such adapter. So because it's in existence, I thought I would buy one, and I'll see if I can do this. And this lens is, see, its focus is down to, like, how close are we? Let's see. So if it, because it works in a way so it doesn't have the full range of autofocus. So what I do is when I shoot, like if I want to do a fake macro, I zoom to like a minimum close distance there, so it's as close as it can, and now you are in focus, and this is 10 centimeters from the camera, so it's like crazy. I might even include this picture. And if you, obviously you can get the full range of focus, but sometimes you have to like arrange it, so like somebody's like a meter away from you, you put it there somewhere, and then it will find the focus. You know, it's still focused, but there is like a range how much it can focus, because when you focus with it, what it does is okay, I can't show you because there's nothing to focus there. So you see, so it protrudes and goes in and out basically. So that's, so you don't have a full range of the barrel, but with that range, and you get eye autofocus with this thing, so it's amazing. So now we have an autofocus, and you can't really beat this. Like definitely will never. Anyway, so this is the secret trick. If you have a bad eyesight, I don't have a bad eyesight, it's good, but you know, sometimes you can't afford to miss a shot. And here we go. So yeah, I will probably include some samples on in the video during the show or whatever. And if you guys go to my Instagram, I always tag which lens I use or what gear I used in what shots, so you will be able to find them. And honestly, I can only recommend this lens because it's just off the chart in every aspect. And now it's autofocus, you know. I mean, the tech art adapter is like, I don't know, I think I paid 100 quid for it, and I have so much use with it because I use it with my the Sumarit, or you can use it with the Summicron, because I have a Summicron with the same thing. You just put an M mount on it and then you're good to go. And you can use it with anything you want. You can use it with your sonars, basically all the Leica lenses or anything that can be mounted on a Leica M mount, any M42 lens, and you can, you know, or M39 for that matter, you just slap on an M mount conversion and then you're good to go. So that I might make a separate video with this tech art, but I know people think it's a gimmick and stupid, and why would you? If you have a Summicron, why would you? But sometimes it's just good to have an autofocus. And not only that, but if you buy this tech art adapter, so basically what it does, you can program different kind of modes. So basically my tech art is always constantly in a macro mode. I think if you go into the program settings of the tech art thingy, you have to set it, it's very rudimentary, but I think if you set it to a certain aperture within the tech art thingy, I don't know, there's no aperture in there, but they call it F whatever, so program mode F whatever. Program mode F whatever is a macro mode. So basically what it does when you start the camera on, it's power from the camera battery, so that you don't have to charge it or anything. So you start it on, and basically what it does, if it's programmed to macro mode, then it protrudes a little bit. So it's kind of like you put like an extension ring in there. So it's when it starts up, it comes all the way out, and then that lens is a bit further out. So basically this is how I got that short distance, like 8 centimeters. It focuses down to like 8 centimeters, and pin sharp and autofocus and eye autofocus. So obviously this can be changed, so it's not a big deal. I just thought if I have this adapter and I use it with a lot of vintage lenses, and sometimes you like to, you know, do macro stuff and see what they can do, and so this is my reasoning. I have it in a macro mode, but obviously you can still have the full range. It just starts out in a macro, which is fine. Okay, so I think I will just end it here, and hope you guys like it. And if you guys have any questions about this lens, like, I'm more than happy to talk about it. It's a wonderful lens. Like, I was okay, I had the Voigtlander 35 1.4, and that's a good lens as well, and far smaller than this one. But I think this lens is far better. I don't even know why there are not many more people buying it, or why there are no photo examples on the internet, because this lens is crazy. I think I will make a video about micro contrast, the rarity, like the luxury of film. Like, okay, I'm not going down in this because it's gonna be a longer video, and I've been told my videos are getting longer and longer for no good reason. So I try to edit this shorter. Okay, ending it here. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe.